what's going on, everybody? Welcome now, Stock Trades. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a happy Friday. Yeah, my apologies for a late live. Just was really busy today, so I just wanted to kind of hone in and talk about a few things. How you guys doing? What's going on, Patrick? Friday night special. What's up, Greg? How is everybody doing? All right, so I wanted to bring up to your attention something that's going to be coming up, and the next, I believe was it let's see, 3, was it 6? So I think was it by Friday? Friday next week, is it? By Friday next week, I think on January 10, plus or minus, maybe the week after that, Clover Health is going to be releasing a business update. And, speaking of which, let me just go ahead and just remove this for a second. Let me just go ahead and do this real quick and open up the technical analysis chart, because I think this is going to be actually pretty good here. Let me just add this back to the stage here. What's up, Don? Mr. Al, number one in the house. What's up? That works. Yeah, so don't mind all the scribbles here. This is like an upward channel, and then we almost pretty much broke it, and now we're here trading in this weird little channel here. And the question is when are we going to break out? Today we had a crazy gain off of the day, and we jumped up pretty high. And the question now is, are we going to break out, or are we going to wait? So if you look at, January 10, it's right around here. Or you can go here if it trades like this. Essentially, if Clover consolidates like this, it's going to get into this little squeeze pattern. And it's either going to break down or break up. Given the fact that Clover's broken down here, we have a gap of above. I think we may experience a breakout between now and the end of January, or at least between now and the end of February, whenever earnings happens. But we consolidated down multiple times. We reset the RSI, and now we could start to see that we're basically trickling back up. So that's kind of where I'm looking at now on this. Now, if you go to look at the S&P 500, a great little tool that a lot of hedge funds use is they say, whenever the price of the stock goes below the 50-day moving average, it's hedge funds and institutional investors selling, right? Whenever it goes above the 50-day, it's institutions buying, okay? So, and obviously there's a degree to that's true. But right now it seems that institutions are kicking back online, and the narrative is slowly going to start to change. I'm sure if you look at the fear and greed index, I'm sure today was pretty greedy. Let's see here. I usually always miss these because time zones seems like being awake at 6 a.m. with the stomach flu does have one perk at least. Oh, I'm so sorry, CS. I hope you're feeling better. I'm sorry. And usually I don't like to schedule it this late. I'm sorry. It's currently, you can see my clock here. It's 10:25 p.m. and I just got done with my day, and I just there's a lot that I talked about on Twitter today, and I just kind of want to put it all in one video, just summarize it all. 2025 is going to be a year, not trying to be optimistic, but I got a dream of it today that we are at $14 in November 2025. So one of our members in our Lifetime Access group, fluids, water. And if it gets worse, you go to the hospital, of course, right? Just if I had just fluids and water and whatnot. Let me think. I was going to say something about, so if you go ahead and look at one of our members was saying, if you look at RGTI, we were talking about the stock when it was literally around $2 to $1 in the pennies, and you could see it just literally shot up, just right? And all instantaneously within a few months, people have become, they pretty much 22x their money. Stuff like this happens fast, guys, right? Depending if there's hype, and the hype involves supply and demand. Given that there is somewhat of a demand right now for medical costs to go down, this could be a potential. But just set your calendars for January 10, plus or minus, right? Around that time. In terms of quickly, IWM, uh, we're seeing IWM fall right down here, and you could see this is the support line I drew. You can see it here, and I drew this a while back ago. It's not like I drew this today. You could see how it's been reflective of this. So I think we should be starting our uptrend. We got our RSI reset, and the MACD is about to curl up to formulate a signal. And ultimately, guys, technical analysis doesn't have to be hard. It's very simple. It's just looking at the charts and seeing what these algorithms are seeing, right? And a good indicator to see if we're in a bull market. I don't know if it does. BTC. I don't know if they have it here. This is like not the right thing, not the right one to use it on, but Bitcoin's been going up, so that's a good prognostic indicator that we're on a more risk on environment. So what happened today? Well, the S&P was up 1.26%, NASDAQ 1.77, Russell 1.72. Pretty on par with the NASDAQ. Pretty impressive, if you ask me. Then you have Clover Health essentially up. Let me just kind of remove here. Let me just zoom in here on the trackpad here. You have Clover Health up 5.11%. If you go to year to date, you could see Clover Health is up 3.13%. Interestingly, other forms are saying it's actually a lot higher, but I'll buy it. But in one day, we went up 5.11%, 5.11%. So I think we're trading pretty on par with if the market's up, Clover's up, and there's no disparities now between like this calculative kind of basket of meme stocks that Clove used to trade at. Like for example, today, AMC was only up like maybe 1% or something. You could see like nothing's really, AMC is not really like you could see Clover and AMC have disparaged, and we're going to be talking about that. Again, you can't compare a movie theater and healthcare, but they used to be compared before for folks that are, new to hearing about Clove. We're going to be talking about the stock terminal here. We're going to do some cool things here. So let's open up the stock terminal real quick and let's look up algo flow. I don't think there's going to be. I don't think there's going to be any. Oh, there it is. Okay. Very good. So the stock price has gone down, but the algo flow is going up. So this is actually pretty good. So again, algo flow looks at it just gets in a lot of data, institutional data and whatnot. And it really looks at, again, usually it costs $100 just to get the flow algorithmic, but we included here for, lifetime access. So, again, the whole point is to empower the user to be able to have all this data. Yeah, I know exactly. Where is B-Rad Cooley? That's why my voice is down today. I'm sad. I'm sad. He's not here. He's probably sleeping. It is pretty late. I think he's on the East Coast. No. But yeah, so you can see here, guys, it seems that it's tracking along. And folks that are interested, we also have this new command. It's really nice. It looks at when institutional big money buys in. It's called whale. I can't spell whale. It's called whale target. Now, if you go to whale target and look at soon, Soundhound stock, you can see kind of where whales are buying. So there's a resistance where they're selling, and then also where they're buying. So again, it gives you some good sufficient data here. Now the problem is what's the whale target for Clover? And I think because the options chain is a little mucky, I don't think we have it. So it's still we're still not there yet, right? So again, we're very early in this play, all right. But what I wanted to go ahead and do, and you could calculate, you could look at any stock you want, of course, right? I just looked at a few right now on live. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to look at the support and resistance. Where are we at here? Let's look at Clove. Let's look at the period. Let's do the minute chart first. And then you could see here we're oscillating here, and we had a couple touch points here, almost pretty much 4 touch points at $3.12. You can see we formulated a pretty good level of support here. In fact, pretty strong level of support here at $2.99. So we're slowly creeping up. In fact, if we were to go ahead and take a look at CLOV real quick and look at the period and just upgrade it to the hour chart, right? Let it think. Okay, and you can see ultimately you can start drawing a line here, right? A little exponential, little weird line here of a support, right? You could see that 322 now is starting to become a level of support potentially. There's your 4 touch points there at 312, right? And you have that 187, but the biggest thing now is ultimately what's the support and level of resistance here, and then we got that 410 support. Resistance. So let's go ahead and see let's upgrade the timing level here, and let's go to period, and let's go to the day, right? And then you start drawing this line, right? It's a nice line. You could start drawing this curved line here to look at this level of support. And you could see, there's your touch point here. And you can see it's higher highs and higher lows now. We're tracking along a new channel, right? We had this channel, we broke out, we consolidated, right? And now we're heading just like how we consolidated around the 60-cent region, which I'll show you on the next upgrade. So we have that $3.40, then 354, and then once we get that, we're going to have that 432. So keep these levels of resistance in mind as we proceed forward, okay? Let's go ahead and look at the SR levels now, but let's go ahead and upgrade it. And again, for folks that are interested in wanting to join our lifetime access, we have all of this for you here for a reason, right? Let's go ahead and put it on the week, right? And again, just quickly, we do have the coupon code. Will be expiring soon. New Year, singular, $700 off. Going back, though, this is what I was talking about, consolidation, right? We consolidated for a long time. A lot of people, right? A lot of people are like, they were trading the stock from like 80 cents to $1, 80 cents to $1. The problem is folks, there's a lot of folks that just thought it was going to go back to 80 cents and it didn't happen, right? And they left a lot of money on the table. So stuff like this can happen, right? It's not going to be a straight moonshot, but you can see ultimately now, we're definitely got a lot of support from that 265 region. Once we get to a point where we're really support, then this thing will update. We have that 420, and then as I said, once we get past that 420, luckily the price targets are above $4, right? We got a $6 price target too. So all that's good tailwind. But then, as I said, once we get past all this, we should be going to Boeing 747, right? So there's that Boeing 747. So we still got yet to work there, but again, we are tracking along, right? So that's what I wanted to do there. Also, if you look at the VIX, which is the volatility index, it's actually down 10% today. And like I said, with the analysis I created in terms of looking at the VIX, 1 month out, 1 year out, of course, it's spiked up pretty fast, and now it's falling down. And smart money has been ticking back up, buying the dip, and now as stocks go up, smart money, you can start seeing it starting to curve down, right? And then dumb money poked its head from themselves, and now they're like, "Oh, we're going up. Let's go buy, woohoo!" Right? And you can see the sentiment for CNBC change, right, to reflect that of dumb money. So I expect to see now we're going to probably turn green. We'll see. Now I went ahead and posted this, and I created this image that talks about disruption from Humana to Clover. Now, we all know Blockbuster to Netflix, BlackBerry to Apple, MySpace to Facebook, Kodak to Canon, Borders to Amazon, Marriott to Airbnb, taxis to Uber, to potentially robo-taxis. You might have a second generation type of disruption, right? But we're going to go ahead and look at these posts. But first off, let's go ahead and look at the comments real quick. Rocket, love it. Is there a smarter way to add shares than DCA for CLOV? I can't trade options, unfortunately. The sad part is it's hard. I can't provide financial advice, my friend, because again, I'm not a financial advisor, right? But what we do have is we have a community of people that are users that they can express their opinion, right? And and you guys can take advantage of that and ask stuff like that, right? Um, but what I like to do is just use intrinsic value and use the margin of safety, right? I love the platform, guys. By using our platform, it has already paid for itself. Definitely making better decisions when making trades. Thanks, Mr. Al. I appreciate you. That works. Literally username tracks, right? Yeah, guys. Also, shout out to Elon. This Grok symbol is pretty cool, isn't it? It's a little update there, but it's very cool. Quick little thing I want to say, but the whole point is being data driven, right? People like Peter Lynch said this, right? These are not my words. I'm just a replication of the people of the past that have passed down their knowledge, and I'm just doing the same thing. But Peter Lynch said that when someone buys a house or let's say an ice cream store or whatever, they calculate everything. They calculate how much money they're going to spend. They calculate all of these different types of things. But when someone buys a stock for some reason, they just buy it because their neighbor bought it. They do no calculation. And I get it because it's so hard to get the data for the stocks. But if you're data driven and you just say, look at the number of market participants and look at all the, look at all the market participants, how many of them are data driven, right? I mean, we are looking at SEC 13F filings. We're looking at what other people buy, smart money. I mean, we have our finger on the pulse. I mean, we really know what. We're really deep into the stock market, guys. I mean, you go talk to someone, tell them what an SEC 13F is. They're not going to know what that is, right? Tell them, hey, go find me Bill Ackman's holdings. What? Who's Bill Ackman, right? It's worth $9.1 billion, right? All right. So yeah, I'm very happy that you like the platform. I really, truly am. Okay. So we made this post regarding disruption. I looked at the earnings call for Humana, and I wanted to share with you a couple things. The MCR for Humana has been challenged heavily. It's 89.9%, and it's higher than expected utilization. The reason why is a lot of people are witnessing a post-pandemic catch-up scenario. There's a lot of increased claims. The other issue is social determinants of health. Factors like transportation, housing, and food insecurity impact health outcomes. And Humana needs to acknowledge this, right? But here's the twist. We already know there's companies like Clover that are using these AI-driven tools that are reducing MCR. And a lot of people are starting to post about these silver linings, right? And Andrew Toy is exhibiting this. And he's offering a solution. It's challenging the status quo of these incumbents. And I just talk about what, investors need to look at. From the rising MCR and whatnot. And they need to adopt something, or they're going to get swept up by a competitor, right? They're going to get bought out. I think the healthcare industry is at an inflection point. Disruption isn't coming. It's already here. And the problem is Humana needs to check itself. Give us a follow for Al Stock Trades, people on the YouTube side. Nice to see kind of the community there, both sides. Why not be on both platforms, right? More data. Mr. Ari here used to be a negative Nancy towards Clover. He went ahead and added this regarding Bright's outcome, how it literally declined 99.5%. And he said, hopefully they swapped into Clover Health earlier this year, up 250% on impressive business turnaround. So the point here is people are noticing the business turnaround. The fundamentals now are starting to track up. Okay. Another thing that I want to talk about is Humana's. This was gentleman posted this a while back. He said, Humana, Medicare Advantage may fail without regulator intervention, threatening core business. Humana faces significant challenges with rising denial rates and customer disenrollment, which have led to sharp decline in stock value and profitability. In fact, we've talked about this before. If you look at Humana's free cash flow, it's actually negative $4 billion on a trailing 12 months basis. Medicare Advantage struggles, including higher costs and regulatory issues, threaten Humana's primary revenue stream, necessitating a potential business model overhaul. Despite efforts to cut costs, Humana's profit margins continue to decline. There's no clear recovery path. Its Medicaid CenterWell segment also seeing weak profitability as well. So Humana's recovery hinges on the government intervention and regulator change with minimal clear plans by regulators and politicians. So Humana's at risk of failing. And what's interesting is Clover's MCR is actually benefiting off of this risk, and it's creating a new market, right? So we will continue to monitor this, and we'll see what happens, right? We could have a business, we could have the government come in and try to fix this and bail out Humana, but it's ultimately not going to solve the main issue. These insurance companies were not helping physicians have healthier patients, and Clover's actually doing that. So these incumbents need to change, and the delta is so big that they need someone who already has the data like Clover, right? I talked about this earlier today in regarding comparing AMC to Clover. I know the comparison's kind of weird, but this was Clover. The reason why I compare it is because they're not comparable at all, right? But Clover was once plagued as a meme stock, but now Clover has a higher market cap than AMC, right? And the point is in the short term, a lot of people were saying the squeeze is imminent. What I was telling people in the long term, AMC is going to fail if they don't fix before people say, oh, if they don't fix their fundamentals. So like I said, fundamentals don't lie. Free cash flow is king. Hype fades. Value lasts. Okay. And then obviously you should review this post here. The biggest thing I want to just give quick takeaway based off of just all this. So the sentiment is changing. Analyst price targets are here. $4, $4.20, $4.50, and $6. I assume there are going to be more price targets. My price target is a lower bound of $4.49 to $9.28. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Okay. Now, institutional ownership from 2021 and onwards has been going down, but we have seen this slight tick up. Just for my understanding, I wanted to do some statistical analysis, so I applied a 5-day period simple moving average, and the line jumped out of the 5-day simple moving average. So this is a statistically significant jump, which explains it, because if you were to graph it against a stock price of 250% gain year to date, and the fact that other people are starting to basically change their tune, then yeah, this is pretty statistically significant. In fact, if you were to zoom in, we just are about to cross a MACD signal. And if you look at all indicators with a 5-period simple moving average to a 5-period exponential moving average, and even the trend line, institutional ownership have increased that once you zoom in. Okay. Likewise, the Clover Health sentiment train is basically turned really positive. This is our proprietary analysis. This is the neutral segment. This is the bearish segment. This is the bull segment. You can ultimately see here that we are tracking along, and the stock price is pretty reflective of that. I'm very excited for what the future holds. We're going to go ahead and see what happens. But overall, guys, for folks that are interested, again, that works. Here it is. I mean, just ask the people that are on the stock terminal. They'll tell you themselves if they like the product or not. The point is it's very, people have people that have joined, you guys know the integrity and honesty that I, put into what I preach. There's been instances where, people have overpaid, and I'm like, why are you overpaying? They purchased both. And I went ahead and I called them directly. I said, hey, can we talk? What's going on here? Right. We always make things right. And the point is that what we're trying to create, and I think this is a really good for folks that want to get in my head and really want to understand me. There's a really good movie. It's called Lucy. Here. This is the movie. It's called Lucy. It's 2014. It's like a sci-fi movie, right? But there's a little quote by Morgan Freeman that I really like. And it was the phone call. And the biggest thing he said here, he said, what is the objective of any cell? What's the highest purpose of a cell? What does a cell do? It likes to divide. It likes to share its information and divide. That's the highest purpose. And you can kind of look at that and kind of see what I'm doing, right? What am I doing to you all? I'm sharing information. Isn't that the highest order of a cell's organism, is being able to pass information down, right? So that's what we're doing here, right? This is no revolutionary secret sauce. I guess you can call it a secret sauce, but because of how Wall Street has made it into a secret sauce. But ultimately, the information is actually quite easy, right? And you could take a two-prong approach. You can go ahead and do it yourself. And it took me 10 years plus to figure this out. And I'm still figuring it out. Or you can go ahead and join an accelerated boot camp that is instilled with over 2.5 billion outputs of data. And you could go ahead and learn like a machine and pretty much get, people are going to get offended by this, but you can get a vaccine and get all that information and get upgraded so you can understand what's going on in Wall Street. That's what I did, and that's the product I offer, and I hope that you guys like it. People are loving it. If they don't, give me feedback. I'll always make it better, because that's the whole point, right? Why did I go into medicine? Well, it's for the patient. Sometimes people forget about that, right? Why are we in medicine? Why are we doing all? People get trapped by the gossip and the bullshit of healthcare. But at the end of the day, what is the building that they're? Why were these buildings created? Is because we want to take care of the patient, right? What's the point of this whole Al stock trades thing? Well, the mission's simple, is to be able to empower you guys to fight against Wall Street. That's why they call it Wall Street. It's a big wall. You're not supposed to enter it. Well, we're trying to basically democratize that, right? And now you're starting to get data points that are data driven, and it's almost like you're flying with the GPS. So that's what we're offering. And the product speaks for itself. The return speaks for itself. And that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm very excited to look forward to the future. I think 2025 is going to be a pretty awesome year. In the next 5 years, guys, though, it's going to be very sexy, right? There's going to be a lot of people on that Reddit page. I tell you, there's going to be a lot of Lamborghinis posted in the next 5 years. I can tell you that. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. If everything comes to fruition, which I think it is, I'm very confident and I'm very bullish on this. I think we're going to be, it's going to be life-changing money here, okay? Stay the course. And if you haven't done so, please give this video a like so it can spread. Again, there's these YouTube things. You have to give it. I know it's stupid. You got to log in sometimes, give it a like. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, right? And also, it helps with increase the channel's visibility. So there it is, guys. I'll see you on the next one, and have a wonderful day and happy Friday.